chances are you're going to be supporting all sorts of clouds. Now, when I hear the word multi-cloud, what I actually just think is all the computers and stuff you have. When you look at what people are using to run and manage their applications, it's traditional VMs, maybe even bare metal, public cloud services, private cloud services they've built. And the larger your organization gets, the more and more of these environments that you have. You've probably accumulated those through just decades of working, running that software that runs your business. You also have probably acquired or been acquired by other large organizations. Think about all the bank acquisitions that go on. So multi-cloud really just means the estate that you have. We see this even in the cloud native space. In our VMware State of Kubernetes 2023 survey, where we see that 76% of respondents utilize multiple clouds. I'm particularly interested in this number because we surveyed companies that are 1,000 people or more, and 41% of the respondents work at organizations that have 10,000 or more employees, which represents the kind of large, regular organizations that I'm more interested in than startups and tech companies and things like that. If you look at where people are planning to run their applications, you can see that obviously people want to run in public cloud, but there's great representation of all the other types, particularly when it comes to edge locations, which I think nowadays we have a pretty good idea of what that means. It basically just means running on premises somewhere, whether it's a warehouse or a store, or maybe even the more rugged field environments you're thinking about. Other than just it's the way things are, as I was going over, why do people use multi-cloud? I want to talk about the number one reason, and that is to avoid vendor dependence. Now, there's another word we use for this, and that's lock-in. Lock-in! Which people are always deathly afraid of. I like to think of lock-in more in the terms that Simon Phipps talked about way back in the 2000s, which is that you want the freedom to leave. You don't want to be stuck. The intention of Kubernetes, wherever you might be running it, is that it's a great thing for you to lock into instead of the surrounding platforms. So if you architect and write your applications, you configure them, you set them up to run in a Kubernetes environment, the promise of Kubernetes is that as long as you're running on that thin layer of Kubernetes in whatever type of cloud, you'll get more freedom to leave. You'll have more application portability. And that might be something that you use to make sure prices don't go too high. It might be that you've built up your own Kubernetes platform, your own developer platform, and you find that you want to transition to a more integrated, maybe even commercial version of that platform because it's no longer sustainable to have, in worst case scenario, your application developers supporting that, or transition it over to your more traditional infrastructure and operations people who generally have a low tolerance for little weird science project things that us application developers have built. So if you want to get more insights into the multi-cloud nature of Kubernetes, but also the benefits that they're getting and things that they're fixing up, maybe you could even call it the challenges, but how your peers are putting together their Kubernetes strategy, you should check out the VMware State of Kubernetes 2023 survey. You can find that by going to cote.io/Kubernetes.